Welcome, welcome, family. I'll get started in a few more minutes. Welcome, 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 family. I hope all is well out there. And I'm going to get right into my discussion. Yesterday, I left off some stuff that I had in my mind, but I had a lot of things. And sometimes when I have a lot of things going on, something is going to get missed that's important that I meant to put in there. But I'm definitely going to address it tonight. Hope I still have that note. Okay, one point I wanted to make was Now, the way I see everything is all of Europe, America, all of these lands, Asia, were once attached in what we call Pangea. And therefore, the whole continent was known as Africa or Kibalon. Now, during a certain period when the Greeks were going over and learning from Kemet, the reason why we saw that as a time of enlightenment, when the people were going over and giving contribution to the Kemetic people for their what they were taking back to Greece, was because they were really all one bloodline, all one people. But we got to realize that sometime later, after the Greeks were getting everything they needed, the education and stuff, and taking it back to what we call Europia, it was a university that they were dealing with. It was higher knowledge. And this higher knowledge was supposed to spread all over because everything was divided. The planet was divided. People were driven further away from each other. So I say that because there is a distinction later on where the people the people were then enslaved in their own land in Greece. The original Greeks were enslaved, and so were some of the ones that came from the Kemet area, the that area, that region. So all of them became prisoners. I would like to even go further to say that that's probably what kicked off the war, like the capturing people and imprisoning them probably kicked off, and because it was the Dark Ages. Though it would have been still probably the early parts before the Dark Ages, I would say. That's why I say it wasn't very long after we started seeing the whitewashing of Europe, because the original Greeks were taken over and driven underground. They were prisoners. A lot of them went underground. And a lot of them were put in these Olympic, where they were fighting against, forced to fight against other men or fight against animals, or put in dungeons with animals. This was uncivilized times. So the people who took over Greece, Spain, Italy, well, they didn't quite take over Spain and Italy yet, because we still had Black people there, but they were focused on Greece. Once they got Greece, then they started getting the other countries. They got Rome first, then they started getting the other countries. Um, and the dark people, the black people, the original people, were driven underground for protection away from these people. So they had to hide out, many of them. And then that's where you see the differential in why the earlier Greeks give contribution to Kemet for their education and everything, and how they built up everything, their architecture. But then once they were taken over and all the black people were driven away or either imprisoned or killed, all of their records, all of their documents were taken over. And therefore, that's why we see the difference between the earlier times when they were giving credit to Kemet versus the later times when they started taking it on as their own. It wasn't the same people. It wasn't the same people. I made a little note to myself here. Let me get it. It says, let's look at the beginning of it all. They were learning how to talk. They were learning this language that our people had created for trade amongst each other, because as the lands parted, people's languages changed and they had to come up with a way of communication. They had to come up with a way of communication. So that's why we get this progression amongst the Caucasians, because we know they only had a short period of time through history, through their own story, their own admittance, their own literature, their own writings. It's only been a short period of time. Their language has transitioned from one stage to this stage, to this current stage. Because not too long ago, they were speaking. So talk and live civilized during this period of thus thou art thy. They left us out. They left us out of those times. So it's obvious. It's obvious. And then they question where was that famous writer during all of the Dark Ages? Where was hold on. I gotta get out of this.
Hello, Mommy. Why do you want?
Okay, that's why they question where was William Shakespeare during a certain period of time when there was no enlightenment at that time, during pretty much the Dark Ages stages. So you would ask, where was the black people as well? Well, the little black people we did see, they were from the universities, what I call comedic knowledge, and they were given that to the Europeans. Hey, welcome, DOD.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hold on a second. You sound kind of low.
Do I? Hold on. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Well, they were given the knowledge and the sciences to the Europeans in a way that they can handle it. They were given the medicine, not like we knew it naturally. They were giving them the chemical breakdown of medicine because their bodies are different than our bodies. And what they needed, and they found that cured the Black Plague was stuff from pigs, dirt, and pretty much all that gooky stuff is what helped them overcome the Black Plague. See, at that time,
Black Plague?
Huh?
About the Black Plague?
Yeah, in Europe, when they suffered under the Black Plague in Europe,
okay,
what got them through it was dirt. Vaccines, which is poison slime. It helped them, but it's something that wouldn't help us.
And that's because, as you said, our body chemistry is different.
Yes, our bodies are way different. And what I wanted to talk about today is very important to take a look at is our people are falling for all of this stuff, and more Black people are dying in this country than the Caucasians are. I heard one Caucasian talking about her family members were 14 days in quarantine. They got better. And that's all they do is go home and get better. Where Black people are kind of overreacting and are dying. There's many Black people that are going to these hospitals and dying.
And I think I'm like Barrett. That's because they're going to the doctors. They're getting these procedures done to them, and the procedures that they're doing because they don't really know what this virus is doing, and the procedures that they're receiving is what's killing them. I heard today that the respirators are not good. You shouldn't be on a respirator.
Exactly. But we got people like Roland Martin, who is pushing that we need to get equality somehow When Black people don't need equality, we need our own. We need our own people out here standing up, looking after each other, and helping one another. We don't need an underhanded, dirty-handed people looking out for our people who don't even really care for our people. If you can't force the hand of people who don't care about you. If they don't care about you to take care of you in these hospitals, then what we need to do, we need to move away. I'm not talking about physically move away. If they're not trying to taking care of you and taking you serious in the hospital, then you go to the next best thing. Unfortunately, our Black doctors haven't been taught. Our Black nurses haven't been taught well. But they do have knowledge that they need to utilize from the ancestors. They do have knowledge within themselves that they know that their grandmothers and their granddaddies told them, and they need to listen. They need to remember what the grandmamas and great grandmamas and the reason why they're nurses and doctors, what reasons why they're in the position they are. It's because people and their families supported, ancestors supported them. So the least they can do is listen and help their people and stop feeling helpless in this situation. You're not helpless. Like I said, I don't feel educated one bit, even though that might have been their goal. I wasn't miseducated. I was taught everything I needed to be taught, and then I turned it around, or I looked at it in a different light, or I researched it deeper. Especially these stories about the past. I know something ain't right. Something ain't right, like language. How come they go from thus, thy art, thy, thee, in a short period of time to speaking like we are? And then not even that language, they were speaking like that. Something worse before that, because over there they still speak kind of like in the country, over in Europe, they still speak that. The one they spoke before the proper, thus thy art, thy, and then you got to look at the transitioning of things. It's a short period of time, very short period of time to now. And like I said, it's very critical that, Vincent 52, how freedom is under attack, y'all. Highlight bearer. No. Yes, freedom is under attack. But we don't have to worry about that. What freedom did we ever have? What freedom did we ever allow them to give us or take from us? Really. I mean, it's been all surrounded by, we got to look at the premises of things. We got to look at things from, like, maybe stand back and look at it from the outside and see, because if there was a God, he's looking at it from the outside, or she's looking at it from the outside, and they're saying, yeah, that don't look right. No, that can't be. That can't exist. That is an illusion. That is like constructs have been built around these people, and they really think that in this existence that somebody can take away and give something to them that you're born with. And you're not asking anything from them. Maybe a group of people are, but as an individual, what are you really asking for from them? That's a realization that even they should be coming to having to face. It doesn't exist. That's why that old man said what he said. When that white man came to him Like, he just clearly let him know that, for one thing, you didn't take nothing and you can't give it either. So who the hell do you think you are? You know, that's what they need to look at. Who the hell do you think you are? Because they flat out clearly, hey, Seven Queen for knowledge. They set out and clearly say these things. Hold on, I'll share my screen in a minute. About
We got Vincent in the house, and we got Seven Queens. Or Seven Queen.
yeah, I saw her. We got people like this who let me see if I got the video here. If I can get the video. Is that the image? Let me see if I can get the video. Where is this? Where is this at? Let me see.
Hello there.
Hold on. I don't know why they did that. Oh, okay. Nigeria drug security. I was trying to find them when they were talking about. You know, Africa was fine until those travelers started coming and packing in. They brought that disease. They brought whatever they were going on, that radiation or whatever they had, poisoning, over to Africa with them. And the Africans, I mean, we all seen it with our own eyes. And the African, they left their ports open for a little bit. They left their ports open for a little bit.
Doofuses.
Let me see here. I'm still trying to find this.
Africa probably has the fewest amount of people infected.
Right, and they want to go over and test them.
Yeah, that's BS. You should go over to Europe. That's where the most cases are at, or in China.
Yeah, they should be testing in Europe. But you know what the whole agenda is? Is to get Black people, because Black people are sitting ducks. Like I've always said, Black people are going with one human race out here. We're all one human race. Everybody's from Africa. Not everybody's from Africa. No, Africa's not they made Africa one area of the planet. And the truth is, Africa is not just one place, one continent. Africa was the whole planet. Nubian was the whole planet. Kubalan was the whole planet. And that's why they went all over killing, stealing. They went all over doing this. We think only in Africa and America they did this. Way before they did it in Europe. Like I was explaining about the Greeks. The Greeks were Black people. They literally had to go underground for survival. Most of them were killed. I'm trying to find where they had this. Frenchman, video of them speaking. Maybe I'll go this way, back over this way. Go back to the web. Okay, I'll just talk about it because I can't get it, and it's making me do an image, and I don't want to do the image. French doc. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share it with you guys because I couldn't find the thing. Oh, hold on. I'm going to share with you. Share screen. Okay. French doctor. Ooh, hold on. French doctor. Oh, this is it right here. I'm going to make it bigger. Okay, let me do something. Hold on. Ooh, hold on. I don't know. Hold on, let me fix this for a second so I don't get more disturbed. Close. Okay. I'm gonna make the screen bigger here, like that. Can y'all see that better? Can you see it better? Let me see.
Yep, much better.
Okay. Okay, French doctor suggests coronavirus treatment testing start in Africa where there are no mask, treatment, or intensive care. Apologizes. But if you were sorry for what you said, you would never said it. Right? Am I right or am I wrong?
That's right. In the first place.
Yeah. So these Caucasians are never sorry for anything. Okay, a French doctor who suggested that a potential coronavirus treatment be tested in Africa has apologized for his comments. If I could be provocative, should we not do this study in Africa where there are no masks, treatment, or intensive care? Dr. Jean-Paul Marat, because they're, you know what, they need this. Their president and their country was so uptight about Africa becoming anti-France. Well, they have every right to be anti-France because you all still making a lot of places there pay taxes to you so you can survive, so they can survive over there. So they're living off the backs of poor people who need their own resources to survive. But Black people can't have that. There's no such thing as survival for Black people on this planet because they created circumstances for us and that it was difficult for us to survive and easy for them to survive. You see what I'm saying? And that's through money. A lot of people cannot see it. A lot of people cannot see the war that's been waged against them. This is why Africa is in such a stronghold. This is why a lot of our dark-skinned brothers and sisters have hang-ups.
And I'm gonna tell you something else too. If they are willing to test it over in Africa on Black people, they're willing to test it here in America on Black people or wherever Black people are at.
Already done. Guarantee you, already done. They're just the fact that they don't know what to do is killing us. When we simply don't need the care, never needed the care of doctors. of their doctors, because the crime against humanity, I'll repeat once again, the greatest crime against humanity is that we don't know or understand what knowledge really is on this planet. And it's not rocket science. It's not making math complicated, because it's only 0 to 9 numbers. 0 to 9. It's not making language seem difficult, because basically when you speak in tongue, in a different language, I'm trying to say, you're speaking more of an advanced language than you are speaking the language I'm speaking currently. But the mundane got us so low and got us looking up at a false light, false knowledge. When you're low, you got to make everybody look up to you. And that's what it is. So we're in that position. And it's very critical that our people will, if people in Africa, do not let them test you. Do not let them do this. You're going to drop like flies. Black Americans are already dying over here because we already have existing health issues. We overreact. And we listen to them before we listen to dead ancestors, the ones that they murdered. We listen to them before we listen to our ancestors, the one they murdered. We, in many instances, rather do it their way than to do it the old way that our ancestors did it, took care of things. Because there's a such thing as thinking that you're smarter than those behind you. That's what we learned from them. They don't have respect for their anything. They don't go back and look at their ancestors. The only thing they honor is the ones who went out and shoot them up and bang, 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 and rob and steal and kill. But we don't even honor the ones that had dignity, the ones that had, the ones that they call pagans, the ones that, had that organic knowledge. The ones who didn't need a Jesus, who didn't need a book, who didn't need education, but had life lessons to tell you. You see, a lot of us didn't like that. And we veered towards the false light that we're dealing with now on a day-to-day basis, who can say whatever they want to say. Now let me go to this other one. Uh-huh. What? Hold on. I'll be back. Go ahead and talk, DOD. I'm going to be right back.
Okay. And so, yeah, I mean, I just learned about this today, that these French doctors wanted to test our brothers and sisters over in Africa. And when I first heard it, I was outraged. I was given this information a person here on YouTube. His name is Ant Jams. I don't think Ant Jams do videos, but I know he mods for a lot of people. And he wanted me to do the story on this. And so I did a story on these French doctors wanting to experiment, use Africans as guinea pigs for this goddamn virus. And the people over in Africa, they're starting to wake up to what's going on. They don't want to be tested. They don't want this shit over there in Africa. And they shouldn't, because it's not over there like it is over in Europe. It's not in Africa like it's here in America. So you should be testing the people that has it the most. That's the ones that have it the least. Test it on those that are ill with the virus and see if it works on them. But no, they want to go and take their I'm gonna say this, look. They want to go over to Africa and use them as the lab rats. No, don't know. I hope Africa don't fall for that, because there's a lot of coons in Africa. I did a story on one in particular that was okay with it, was okay with having these white people to Africa and test their people. For what? It's not there like that. There are plenty of people in China you can test, in Italy, Spain, England. You know, go over there and test it. In America. Test those people. And I'm like Lightbear. I'm thinking the reason why we're dying so much, Black people, is because we're going into these hospitals instead of staying home and letting the virus just leave our bodies. But when you go in and you get tested by these people, you don't know what they're giving you. You don't know at all what they're giving you. And I'm thinking that's what's hastening a lot of deaths, you know, with Black people. They tell the white people to go home, and then the Black people get treatment and they're dying. So, and after this, I'm going to do another story on these French doctors as well, because I want to see what their backgrounds are about. How many times have they took, you know, because I've heard other tests that they tried to conduct on people in Africa. You know, when AIDS first came out, they did that. They did it then. You know, when these other coronaviruses, these SARS and other viruses came out, the first people they want to run to test is people in Africa. I agree with you, Vincent. That's where they should be testing these vaccines out. It's in China or in Italy, where it's hitting the most at. And I would say China because that's where it started. Go over there and test those people. Hell, test your own French people. See, you right there in France. That's where the vaccination is at. Test your own people. Stop wanting to run over to Africa and do it. But that's how evil these people are, how devious they are. They look for any way to try to kill off African people, Black people. And see, I did it. I looked that up too, Seven Queen. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but last year, November, is when China launched their 5G network, November 1st. On December 1st, the first case of the coronavirus hit China. That was a month later. And they say, we don't know for sure because, you know, they lied, but they say it's a 14-day incubation period. And so if they launched the 5G network November 1st, and then December 1st to get their first case of coronavirus, I mean, I don't know that it's a causality, but it may have contributed. Maybe the 5G weakened people's immune system. And so this is why the 5G, the coronavirus spread so quickly over there. But I did a video on that because I was asked to see if there was a causality between 5G and the coronavirus. Now, if the coronavirus is man-made, then we know 5G didn't cause it, but 5G may have contributed to it if it weakens people's immune systems. And from what I've heard from different doctors, some doctor says that well, as far as cancer goes, half of the doctors believe it can cause cancer. The other half says that it can't. But most agree that it weakens your immune system.
I'm back.
Okay, and so with the release of the 5G a month before the coronavirus came out, it's kind of telling to me.
Yeah, it's very obvious. Remember, I mentioned that I couldn't breathe but I had 5G for a while, for a very short time. Me and my husband both were having the same breathing issues. It was like something was smothering us from breathing, and we couldn't figure out what it was. I knew it was something different, something new. And I was going to do a live video talking about something strange in the air. But because I knew it was, in the air. Because, of course, we breathe it. And if you have a difficulty breathing, then it's something obviously in the air, unseen, that is contributing to your difficulty breathing. And I always pay attention to it because I have allergies, seasonal allergies with the switching between the seasons. And couldn't figure out. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm allergic to meats, and I still think it could be part that contributed to it. But I definitely would say it was the effects of the 5G that we had in the house that we currently don't have anymore. And I'm not having that shortness of breath. And I'm not having like something smothering me. I mean, I had to use my nasal spray and my allergy nasal stuff and popping Sudafed left and right. I mean,
and I remember you telling me too that your husband really never really had those type of issues like that.
No, never had issues like that. No allergies, nothing. So when he said he was having that same thing, it was like crazy for me. Like, wow. So
and that's part of that coronavirus too, the respiratory, where you feel like you're smothering.
Yeah, like I felt like I was losing my breath and I was not gonna be able to wake up the next morning. But
wow.
But the exercises that I did helped me. Like I remember stay calm and just work my way through it. I used all my medications that I had available to me. Hold on again.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand too. When you're having breathing problems like that and you panic, it makes it worse. The best thing to do is try to calm yourself down as much as possible and just breathe. You don't never want to be panicked, scared, you don't want to be moving around a lot when you're going through that. You need to just relax yourself, relax your body, and just try to breathe. But yeah, when she told me that her husband was having issues, because she said he never really had any issues like that, and and that's when they had the 5G. And like I said, half of the doctors says that it'll do that to you. The other half says that it won't. So, but you see here in Lightbearers and her husband's case, it did cause some issues. Because even though Lightbearer says she was having some issues, her husband never did. So now, why all of a sudden you know, because of 5G in the house, he's having it. And then as soon as they get rid of it, they both get better. I mean, that should be a red flag for people right there. And then I also hear too with this 5G, they're going to be putting up mini towers every so 100 feet or so, or whatever.
Yeah, so just imagine how you're going to be feeling then. That's why I'm definitely getting a face mask. I hope they didn't cancel the order, but they're so backed up on these face masks. My face mask that I ordered is an N9. So it's carbon based and it's black.
Oh.
And it has a little thing and you can wash it. So
that's the one that I got.
Yeah, and it's going to give me air, carbon, so clean air. And especially when I have these allergies, these breathing issues. And most of my allergies is dairy, meats, and stuff like that.
Did you see the picture of mine? The ones, because I got 2 of them. So it's on Instagram, on my Instagram.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I ordered my whole family them. And
okay, good.
They go in your ear, right?
In the ear?
Mm-hmm.
Just the one I have covers the face, and it kind of like has the Velcro that that fastens in the back, but it doesn't go in the ear. The one I have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I've been popping Sudafed for a long time though, but that Sudafed works. And someone was saying but after I realized I've been taking all this Sudafed for almost a whole year last year. And then when I see myself running out, I hurry up to the store and get it. That's the way I was last summer. I needed that Sudafed. It was a lifesaver for me as far as my breathing. And that's in between me traveling from Virginia to Kentucky. And I didn't think Kentucky had 5G yet. But it doesn't matter how far you are. That 5G, if it's in your town or your city or your state, it can go for distance. It affects people up to distance. And my auntie had she said she was having allergies too during the summer. And it took her a long time to get over what she was going through. So this stuff may have been going on longer than we think. And a lot of people that are saying these 5G towers have been put up, they just might already be put up.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah, a lot of them are being put up. Yeah. I know New York, Chicago, California, some other places, Louisiana, New Orleans in particular. All of these places have 5G, and a lot of these places have the biggest coronavirus outbreaks.
Yeah, you remember I sent you the picture of T-Mobile that I just signed up with, and they were shut down, but underneath of the caption for 5G advertisement, they had that we're practicing social distancing, so we're closed for business.
Yeah,
that was too funny. So not noticing that it's a contributing factor to increasing these viruses in our air that are naturally there. That what it is just the 5G is magnifying the issue with the viruses.
I think they may be even activating the viruses.
Yeah,
maybe the viruses are laid dormant, and then this 5G, activating them, awakening them.
But like I always said for years, some things are just by nature. You know what I'm saying? Some things were meant to be done. But we as Black people need to wake up, because today I was dropping off something to this Black lady, and she sprayed down everything that I touched. I didn't take a defense to it, but to me, it was overreacting, because that stuff that she sprayed her stuff down with does not kill this type of coronavirus. And I kindly let her know that she said, well, she let me know that she had health issues, diabetes, and other things going on, and she didn't want to take no chances. But
Right.
what a lot of people don't, they don't read up and they don't study these things. That coronavirus on the Lysol can does not hurt anything that's in the air that's going on now, and it does not do anything. And the real problem is not what you breathing in the air. The real problem is when it comes to the vaccine that they're going to use on you, and you're going to agree to, knowing that you already have health issues. That's what's going to make you drop. That's what's going to, if you see people dropping from flu vaccinations like we did a few years back, you remember that, DOD?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Children. My daughter has not had half the vaccines that other people have had, and she's 4 years old. I remember one vaccine they told me that if she doesn't get, that if she's outside, she's going to catch, and she gets hurt, she's going to be, she's going to get tetanus or something like that. Don't you know my daughter has done everything outside? Like, she done cut herself outside. She's done licked oil off the ground in car parking lots, because babies, children, you can't stop them. When you try to get to them, by the time you get to them, they already did the dirty deeds. She's done put dirt in her mouth. She's done ate plants off the ground. She hasn't been sick. My child is not sick. She doesn't have no issues. So basically, we've been treated like the Caucasians been treated, and we're not Caucasian people. That's why I said our doctors and nurses have been taught in a society where doctors don't have the mind to heal things, but they do a whole lot of killing things. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like I said, my daughter, my 4-year-old, she hasn't had a lot of these shots. And that's because I've had all kinds of shots done to me. And because I've had all kinds of shots done to me, all kinds of, from anthrax on down, those things could have very much affected her, you know? So I didn't want to take no chances, because a lot of these children nowadays are getting autism. And then, my friend is telling me that, oh, the shots are not the cause of the autism.
Well, Purple Diva, her son is autistic,
Yeah,
and she believes some of those vaccination that he got caused it.
yeah, definitely. But the whole thing about it in my situation is I warned my friend. I told her not, we talked about it. We talked about a lot of trusting and not trusting these doctors. And I just think she was at a point where she felt like she had no choice, or maybe she was just in fear of trying not to saying no to the doctors for her baby, because I was with her when she was carrying the child. And I know that child was normal when she was a baby, when she was born to me. And then it wasn't until she got a little bit older that she started having these issues. She started looking and being different. Well, being different, you know. So
And it was probably after the vaccinations,
the
the
vaccination,
vaccines.
definitely. And
Dr.
we
Right. Okay.
we need to start listening to our ancestors, taking these things seriously out here. We can't be worried about out here the doctors not treating us equal. Who wants that? I don't. I don't want anything really from them. I don't want me a doctor that is going to go dig deep before they try to uh, recommend anything or do anything to me with modern medicine. I want them to look a little deeper, you know, be a little
Yeah.
natural before they jump to chemicals, you know. And it's hard to find those. It's very hard to find those out there. And we shouldn't, well, there, it isn't really hard to find those. It's just, those are mostly the Dr. Seabees. Those are mostly the, what they call them. I forgot. I used to go to one. You know, um, alternative doctors where you alternative different kind of medications than the ones who just give
Yeah.
it to you just to put a bandage on things. But they're looking at the problem, which what's going on with you, and they're giving you therapy for it, ways to not depend on medication, ways to not have to deal with shots and stuff like that. You see,
Natural remedies,
yeah,
exercising,
natural,
moving around.
yeah, and also, what I used to do was taking your feet and getting it cleaned out, pulling out the dirt out of the pores from your feet, because your feet, bottom of your feet, has to be cleaned, and that's how a lot of the poisons and bad things that are in our bodies come out through in our health, and a lot of it is gut as well, cleaning out the gut, you know. But you know, we just need to open our eyes and not forget that the same thing they did in the past, they don't change. Because I'm seeing many Caucasians, they're not dying as much as Black people in America are dying. And I have to say there's something wrong with that. It's not about them not getting hospital care. It's about the care that they are getting. You see? It's also about that our people are more acceptable because we've been just go along, play along, kumbaya, we all one people, but we're not getting that. We're not getting that we are one people. We're not getting treated like that. So if you're not getting treated like that, then that should obviously tell you that there's something that we need to do differently. We need to stop thinking that they are going to benefit us in some kind of form, shape, or form. Eventually, it's not going to happen like that. It's out of balance for us. We're out of whack. We're out of balance, and we need to open our eyes to that fact, or we're going to die. Truly die. Not we, but one will surely die. Like they say, honor your mother and your father to live long years. And we haven't honored, a lot of us haven't honored our ancestors, our mothers and fathers, those that came before us, and what they have taught us, and you know how they raised us and how that we grew up. We went off to school and we lost all of that, and we picked up on some other people's stuff, and we give honor to them more than we give honor to the ones they murdered. And because in how we give honor is because we go on their every word. instead of moving on to our own things. We feel like there's some kind of light, like they have the answers to life for us or something, which they don't. If they did, we probably would have had it by now, but I don't think they do have anything. Evidently, they have nothing. So, you know, they did something that they didn't mean to go out of hand, and it's gotten out of hand. You see it, DOD, like that?
Yeah, I see exactly like that.
Mm-hmm. But it's all by like I always say. I say it's by design. It's by
Everything
design.
is by design when it comes to them.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
it's by a greater design, not by because whatever the forces that we come from, it's the forces that control these people. We better believe that. But we just have to know that we have to honor our mom, those who came before us, and how we honor them is we listen to them as they are speaking to us every day, telling us, which way to go, what to do. But no, we want to listen to things outside of us. We want to please things outside of us. We want to be seen by things outside of us. We want the approval of things outside of us, which we don't need, honestly. So let me pull up this one thing with Prince Charles. I thought I had it. Prince. I'm gonna see if I can find a video. Charles. Okay, Prince Charles. Prince depopulation. Prince Charles. Okay. I wonder if he has a video. Okay, meanwhile, this sucker is sitting up having babies after babies. But yeah, it's too many people on the planet. If you thought it was too many people on the planet, then his butt need to stop having babies.
Who's that?
Hold on, I'm going to let you see. I don't know why this thing came up. It's ad closed by. I don't know why this ad is on here. It's covering up my thing. Hold on. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to go to this one. Let's see if I can get this video. I want the video of him saying this. Okay.
Okay, so what we have here is this. They don't say nothing about it. They don't even respond. Where are the African leaders?
Okay, here. Okay, hold on. Let me share it. Oh, not that one. Okay.
Okay, so what we have here is this fuck-faced prince. Yeah, you heard me. Fuck-faced, snotty nose, pasty-looking, punk bitch prince, who is calling for the depopulation of Africa. Now let me ask you something, Prince motherfucker. You're living on a fucking island, calling for the depopulation of people on a continent. You could take your little fucking island and drop it in Africa, probably them 1,000 times. You want to depopulate Africa? What the fuck does this guy think he is? Receding hairline, snorting nose, punk bitch. That's what you are. I can't believe this shit. This guy is calling for the extermination of Africans. And you know what's so annoying about this shit? The Africans, they got their head so far up Europe's ass that they don't say nothing about it. They don't even respond. Where are the African leaders? Where's Shaka Zulu and where is Hannibal where we need it? Because these motherfuckers that they have over there leading Africa, they're not no fucking leaders, okay? They're a bunch of sellout traitors. To say the least. To say the least. They're a bunch of sellouts. They're a bunch of traitors. The people should be hanging these motherfuckers from a tree limb and feeding them to fucking animals. Little motherfucker come talk about where we need to depopulate. Well, why don't you depopulate China? Well, if we're talking about depopulating the world, why don't we start with fucking England then? Bloody hell, man. What's this bumbleclad? What's the whore? What am I dealing with? What these fucking people, you know, this thing just get me so fucking incensed to hear some shit like this. And nobody, not even one fucking African leaders, even come out and say anything because they're traitors. They're in it with them. They're in it together. They're all a part of the same fucking machinery. They're part of the same fucking system. And these fucking leaders in Africa will sell out that fucking country and turn it over to anybody as long as they got them little fucking plastic that they can go to Paris or London and shop with their fucking whore for wives and girlfriends. Fuck you. If you're an African leader, fuck you. And this motherfucker gonna suck his mother too. Punk, bitch, traitor, motherfuckers. That's what you all are. Yeah, this is my rant for the week. Rightly so. Because I'm tired of motherfuckers talking about killing me. Jesus fucking Christ. How comes you're not talking about depopulating India? Billions of motherfuckers over there. You're not going to say that, are you? Because you know them Indians will start marching on Buckingham Palace. Not going to say about China. Yeah? Because they hit you all with some fucking kung fu. They Shaolin Temple your ass with some kung fu missiles. They'll drunken monkey your ass. Africans, they don't give a fuck about nobody. They don't give a fuck about themselves. As long as they can go to Europe and shop and bleach their skin and nigger bitches straighten their hair to look white. Any bitch come talk about any royal wedding to me, I'm gonna fucking clock you. And when you nigger bitches talk about no royal wedding to me, I'm gonna fucking pick you up and body slam you. I swear to God, you ever even look at me sideways and talk about no royal wedding, I'll fuck you up. And this little motherfucker, he can suck his mother. Punk, bitch, pasty nose looking. You're not even English. Go back to Transylvania, you asshole.
Transylvania.
That's my rant for the week. You know, and one more thing. There's a law, unwritten law, natural law, law of karma, or God law, or nature's law.
Yes.
Be careful what you sow. Be careful what you sow. Because what you sow, you're going to fucking reap. What you wish for other people, the same thing you wish for other people, motherfucker, is exactly what might happen to you. So that you sow, so shall you reap.
That's a good chant that we all should be chanting.
I like that one.
That's a great chant that we all should be chanting. We should all chant. You reap what you sow around the world, because you know what happens? It always happens. In history, it's happened. They do one thing, because these people they don't have the mind really to mass kill us. They don't have the mind to even heal us. They don't have the mind to heal the world. They don't even have that they can't do it. They don't have the power. Yes, Mother Nature works against them, Daph. Constantly. Mother Nature is constantly on the battlefield. That's what I love to see. Right now, Mother Nature's at work because a lot of them are dying also. Because for everybody they kill, another body on their side, just like checkers, just like chess, you know. But Mother Nature don't play no games. If she gonna wipe out, she's gonna wipe them all out. Unfortunately, our brothers and sisters are with them in bad, you gonna get wiped out. That's why a lot of them that sleep with them get coronavirus because we wouldn't get it any otherwise. We wouldn't get it any otherwise. Uh, besides being around them, because they're the ones who travel amongst these people who are dealing with the 5G, like the Chinese. They travel with them. They go places. They got the money to go places. We don't do that. We're in the ghetto. Come on, please. The only way we get it is having to be around them, work, or in public, walking by them. But it's like a cold. It's like, but they make you overact, make you fear. And when you fear things, you think it's more. And like I said about the lady, she was so fearful that she's spraying Lysol on her stuff after I gave it to her. She's spraying Lysol. And I warned her that, with them health issues, what's going to make you drop is once you get that vaccine shot. It's not about what's in the air. It'll be the shot, or it'll be being in the hospital and them giving you on the ventilation when you're having complications. Because yes, the virus do attack the weak body when you have underlying issues, health issues. It does go to the weak body and make it weak, and it can set off your diseases you suffer from. But for the most part, as long as you taking care of yourself, eating right, uh, you won't have an issue. Which I need to do. I need to eat better. Definitely, we all could do better than what we're doing for ourselves. You know. So yes, Prince Charles is trying to, 2 years ago he did that, and I was very angry about that too. But this guy puts it in. I like the way he expresses it, his anger.
Yeah, I do too.
Funny. But like I said, maybe if he quit having babies, our planet would be better. Being that he is the one who wants to destroy things,
There you go.
you know. Since you got this destructionist mindset, maybe you need to not be here with your babies. Maybe you and your babies don't need to be on this planet. Maybe y'all need to hurry up and find a way to get to Mars. You know. But other than that, like I said, these people, like he said, he ain't even English. He's from Transylvania.
Yeah, that was a good one.
The true royal family was black. We know they were black. That's why they concoct this story. I studied. I made sure I kept whatchamacallit's book, because he tells it all. He tells the whole history of the royal family and how they stole the crown. How they stole the crown. So I made sure I kept that book. I made sure that book is real thick, and because I love to know what truly went down in the past, and it's always in their records. So Shakespeare, they say Shakespeare was a black man. I really believe he was a black man because even my instructors question where was he during the Dark Ages, because that's a period when he, they want to know where was he, you know. So there's too many, like I said about the Greeks, it's obvious that they weren't the same people as the ones who were going to get the education in Kemet. It's obvious that we didn't deal like that with the Tomahawk or with the Caucasian. That's why in the records it shows that they did not take the education seriously. So why would the Moors have to come over, who were nothing more but high priests, who were taught by the ancients in that university, all of these things, and they took it to Europe. They took it to Europe and gave what they could to civilize the Europeans. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And to get them to have a calm nature. But it wasn't only that, it was for them to be able to teach us. And we are special people here in America because we have the knowledge. But it's just not being told to us in the right way, the truth. But like they say, it's all by design. Don't think that the powers, the true powers, did not bank on. Of course, they didn't bank because money, they don't need that. But they didn't. Don't think they didn't bank on these people being conniving as they have been, as far as with our knowledge and keeping us our necks under their feet. Don't think they didn't.
And
They didn't know.
that's our and like Barry, that's our biggest weakness is
Yeah.
our trust. We trust too much.
We trust too much. But don't think that the power to be did not know this was going to happen, because everything's by design. And by design, they fixed it where when these people do what their minds barely can do, it has its way of dealing with them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just the law of nature. Like everybody says, it's the law of nature. What you do comes back on you, just like the boomerang. When we throw the boomerang, what does it do? It just comes right back to you. It's the funnest game to ever play, I think. You like boomerang, DOD? I love it. I haven't played it in a
I
while.
haven't did that in a long time.
I know, but it's nothing like throwing it and it comes right back to you. You know. So I won't stay on too
You did
long.
another good one. Another good one.
Thank you. This was just important. I felt like to get out that there's more to our story. There's more to everything that's going around us. We don't understand what a conspiracy is. When you break down the word conspiracy, it means against the spiritual. It's Latin. It's Latin words put together. So it's always, the physical is always against the spiritual. The ones of the physical body only that are soulless and spiritualless, that's why they seek. Why do you think they seek spirituality? Why do you think they seek it in the physical? Because they don't have it. They don't have a spiritual connection. No matter how many people want to say that these people have a spirit, they don't. They want it, they seek it, but they're the ones that did not have the culture of it. So they don't have it by nature. And maybe things were tests for them only. Why did they have to pull us in it as ones who've been tested? No, we don't have to be tested. Our hearts, our minds, everything is connected. So they already know. So we don't have to be tested. Our people just have been lied to, and they fall for a false light. And that's been profited. It's been profited that we were going to fall for the fall, that the world was going to fall for the false light. All because of what? Sin. Skin. Not sin, but because of the skin. And with that said, do you have any last words, DOD?
No, go ahead.
With that said, true love, real peace, and the higher self within the soul. If you want to stay after, feel free to stay after DOD, and we'll talk behind the scenes.
Well, you know what? You know, I changed my mind. I do. I want to thank everybody for coming in. You guys don't know how important this is, the information and the teachings that Light Bearer is giving you guys. I'm sure there's a lot of you that understands it, but there's a lot that don't. And those that don't, we need to try to get them to a place, an understanding of what's really going on. Because a lot of us are just lost, and it's really not any fault of their own per se, because they were taught one way their whole existence. But we need to wake our people up.
Yeah,
And I want to thank Lightbearer for being one of those people that are doing that.
My mom, she loved reading, she loved education, she loves all that. But for somewhere in her life, she dropped all of that and fell for the Bible as it is. So what I would say is don't let them make education a bad thing, learning, and you go and further your learning about the past, and that will help you hear, probably even stimulate you to listening to the ancestors, because a lot of literature out there tells a story. People, thank goodness for people keeping records and writing books and far back. So whatever you do, pick up literature, um, and try to understand better what the truth is of the past, not the lies that we've been told. Because anybody can stand in front of us and teach us this and that happened and have us memorize those things. But when we read it from points of views, then it does something to us inside and wakens something and stimulates us. I think that that's the best way that I can get you to understand when we're not digging deep into certain subjects in school or outside of school. We just listen to what people say or the Bible, and we leave it at that instead of doing deep study. And that's important. That's critical to find yourself, to find the truth. Why weren't we mentioned in a lot of parts of history? Question that, and then realize that a lot of things are covered up and things weren't as it was taught to us as, much
And,
much of
and
it is lies.
and before I drop off, please, guys, Daff, Queen, Vincent, share this link out to other people. If you guys are on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, share this link out, and get other people to try to understand, and get this awakening. Now, I see Daff in the room, typed in he or she, I'm not sure if male or female, but they wanted a better understanding of vibration, light, and frequency. So maybe that's something you can do in the near future, like there.
Okay, Daph, I'll do my next video. I will do on vibrations, light, and frequencies. But unfortunately, what I done was when I switched over to YouTube, I switched off. I began to talk about things that I never talked about on Facebook. So I talked about vibrations and lights and frequencies, but I don't know if I have a video on that in YouTube.
Okay, so Daph said he's a male. So
Oh,
Daph, make sure your bell is on for light bearer. So you
yeah.
get her notification. So when she does the vibration, light, and frequency video, you'll be able to, come join the conversation.
And welcome, Daph, to my videos. Please check out my past videos also. And Seven Queen for Knowledge, how are you? And welcome. Thank you for coming. Vincent 52, thank you for coming. I also am subscribed to Vincent 52's channel. He does what I used to do. He looks at the sky. I always used to tell people to keep your eyes on the sky. And I still mean that. It's important, it's critical to observe what's going on, because when the sky turns purple, that means great things for us as a Black people on the planet, because that's the highest chakra color. And so when we're able to see the chariots in the sky and everything like that, it's a lot uncovering. It's a lot of things that have been revealed to us as a people here on planet Earth. So I just see it all as good things. I know that regardless of what happens to our people, we have that power, but we need to know it's still critical that they know that their heaven is within them, and it's not going to be a place like what these Caucasians describe things as. What the Caucasians tell us is an illusion and lies. But there's some truth in what they say. But if you don't know the truth behind what they're saying, you can get confused, because majority of it is lies. And it's lies for us, like I said before, because it's our knowledge coming from their level of understanding, their perception. So it's a little off and a little unbalanced. So with that said, family, true love, real peace, and the higher self within. And thank you all again, Seven Queens, Vincent. Thank you, Daph, and welcome. Until next time, true love, real peace.
Have a good night, Light Bearer.
Good night.